Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here once again with another video on just the Arrowverse as a whole, but also just the CW network as a whole. So I think it was around a year ago. It might have been a little bit longer than that, or maybe even a little shorter than that. I don't know. This pandemic thing has sort of thrown my timeline and my understanding of the timeline into a spin. But anyway, it was somewhere around that. We heard rumblings that Viacom CBS, or CBS, was looking to sell its portion of the CW network, and it appeared that Warner Brothers, or Warner Media to be exact, I guess, would buy that portion, which would have Warner Media as the vast majority owner of the CW, as it was a joint partnership between CBS and Warner Media to start off with, and this would give Warner Brothers its own channel, its own network. Warner Brothers, funnily enough, doesn't have its own network. That's crazy to think. All the others do. CBS, or Viacom CBS is CBS. Universal have NBC, Disney has ABC. All those big studios have their own channel. Warner Brothers doesn't, which is sort of crazy. Like in regards to owning all of it. But in regards to that, this, Viacom selling, nothing really followed on from that in regards to it, selling of the ownership rights and stuff like that until today. Well, not today, about 12 to 16 hours ago from when this video will go up. I'm recording it as soon as it happened, shortly after it happened, but by the time you see this will be about 12 to 16 hours later. But anyway, the news came out that both, remember that, both Warner Media and Viacom CBS are exploring the sale of the majority or potentially all of the stakes in the CW network. Now, of course, this put the hate squad, or the hate brigade, whichever way you want to put it, otherwise known as Anonymous Twitter, into action, thinking that this would be the death of the CW and going, oh, RIP the Arrowverse and stuff like that, and other shows I don't like on there. If you don't like something, you don't watch it. But anyway, but the funny thing is that this is sort of the opposite from what's being said by Wall Street Journal. If anything, this is keeping the CW alive and it's saving the CW, this news. So it just highlights how silly people are, because they don't actually read the article that they're commenting on. If that doesn't sum up Twitter, then I don't know what will. But anyway, let's go over this article from the Wall Street Journal. They're the ones that exclusively broke the news, and we'll break it down afterwards into the context of the shows we know and love. So Wall Street Journal says that AT&T's Warner Media and Viacom CBS are exploring a possible sale of a significant stake or all of the CW network, which they jointly own, according to people familiar with the matter. Among the suitors is Nexstar Media Group, the nation's biggest broadcaster and a large owner of affiliates of the network. The people close to the talk said the CW network caters primarily to teens and young adults. So just quickly in regards to Nexstar, you might be like, well, I've never heard of them. But if you live in America, and specifically New York, if you watch Pix or WPix, WPIX, and that's where you watch the CW shows, Nexstar is the one that owns that. They own that channel. If you're in, I don't know if it's specifically, I think it's just specifically Los Angeles, but if you watch the CW shows on KTLA, that's owned by Nexstar. So they're the people that own all these different affiliate networks. I've actually got a list here quickly I'll just bring up. If you live in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, and you watch the CW on KDAF. If you live in Houston, you watch it on KIAH. If you live in Washington, D.C., you watch it on WDCW. So there's all these different affiliate networks, and that's who Nexstar, that's what Nexstar owns. They're the owner of all those affiliate networks. So they aren't just some random people coming in and buying the CW. They're already heavily affiliated with it because they own these affiliate networks that broadcast the CW. So this is the most sensible, media group or corporation to actually buy the rights to the CW. It actually makes a lot of sense. But Wall Street Journal continues, they say people close to this talk said they are far along and an agreement could be reached soon, though the talks could still fall apart. There are other interested parties as well, but the discussions with Nexstar are most advanced, they said. The most prevalent scenario is Nexstar's taking a controlling stake in the CW. This is important, with CBS and Warner Media remaining as minority owners and receiving commitments to be the primary program suppliers for the network. Keep that in mind. But we go on, CBS and Warner Media have been exploring strategic options for the CW network for several months. Some of the people involved in the talk said the network isn't profitable as a standalone broadcast entity, but the content produced for it is a valuable asset for other platforms at the parent companies. Warner Brothers, which produces some of the CW's biggest shows, including Riverdale, has generated significant revenue selling the shows to Netflix over the years. Other popular shows on the CW that have gone to Netflix include All American and, of course, The Flash. So let's just jump into the context of the Arrowverse and everything going forward with all this. The first thing, because this is going to be the thing on people's mind and the people at the front of people's minds and on the tip of their tongues, a show is going to get cancelled. And out of the gate, no. Like, that's the simple answer. No. Like, don't expect this to cancel Legends, to cancel Flash, to cancel whatever show it is that you enjoy watching on the CW, Stargirl, all those. That's not going to happen out of the gate. However, and this is the big thing, however, because the production companies of WB TV or Warner Brothers TV and CBS Studios aren't the overall decision makers as co-owners anymore. Nexstar would be the majority owner, and they would be much more demanding on ratings. So if a show isn't performing to their expectations, they're going to be more likely to cancel it, even if it's very popular with fans. Because, a lot of this stuff now, like if Warner Brothers brings a new show in, it goes to HBO Max. There's no deal like there was with the Netflix stuff. So speaking of Netflix, in regards to these cancellations, Nexstar could be very Netflixy, if you want to call it, with their renewal and cancellation decisions. If you know Netflix, sometimes a show will come out and they won't really give it that much time. If it's not popular out of the gate, they'll just cancel it. They won't give it time to marinate and build a fan base, which has annoyed a lot of people in the past. And really with shows at the moment, for the most of them, for the most part, shouldn't be really worried about this, but it's for new shows that come in if this deal goes forward. So if a new show comes in next season, they could potentially be cancelled early if they don't hit with audiences straight away, which is a big thing you saw with networks like Fox. Fox was so heavy-handed with just cancelling new shows, and NBC as well. So Nexstar with the CW could almost fall into that potentially, but that's a wait and find out. Another question is, will shows move to HBO Max? And the answer is, well, no, because the shows that would go to HBO Max are already on HBO Max. They go there after the season ends. So the shows on the CW would be the reason that some companies would offer higher prices. If all of a sudden they go, okay, we're just going to move them to other things, the value of the CW goes down a lot because you lose the rights to having Superman and Lois weekly, having Stargirl, having The Flash, having Batwoman, all those different shows. It makes no sense for that to happen. You lose value. And they can double dip with this as well. So they can, with the ad revenue and everything like that, and it allows it to gain popularity over different mediums, whether it is network TV or whether it's streaming. So there won't be shows that move to HBO Max that are already on the CW. There could be shows that Warner Brothers is developing that go, well, because we're not the, head of the CW anymore, not co-owners, we'll just put on HBO Max instead, and CBS could do the same because I think they own Paramount Plus, so they could do that. But in regards to something that's already on the CW, don't expect anything to move. But next up, are there going to be more DC shows coming? And you would assume so. As I said earlier, if Nexstar does buy it out, which is the likely case, seeing the situation they're already in with all those affiliate channels like I mentioned before, then WBTV and also CBS would still be the primary content providers. And Nexstar, if anything, would want the higher and more potentially to be, or the shows with higher potential to be popular. They would want those shows coming over because, as I said, they're going to be pretty harsh on the cancellations if something's not performing straight out of the gate, because usually a show doesn't get popular as it goes on, especially on network TV. It usually peaks, it's season 1 or season 2, and then it goes down after that. Doesn't mean it hits the floor, but it just has a steady decline. So if something starts low, then they're not going to really want it. So they're going to want stuff that's going to have like a built-in fan base potentially already, or fits in with like a fan base that already watches something on the CW as well. So that's what they're going to want, which, is the DC shows for the most part. Like, that's what keep people watching the CW. It's like, I think like the top 5 shows, I think 4 of them are DC shows, or it's a top 6, 4 of them are DC shows, something like that. So I'd expect more. What they are, I don't know. Whether they're in the Arrowverse, I don't know. That's a wait and find out. But I'd expect more DC shows to be coming. Yeah, that's the best way to word that. But finally, when will we hear an update about this? Now, of course, the article says they're in, what was the word? I'm trying to find the bit. They're far along in the talks and an agreement could be reached soon. I don't know what happens when they reach the agreement, like how long until it takes effect. I don't know. As I've said before, they're already affiliated. Like Nexstar already owns these different TV stations which host the CW content when it airs. So that means the transition could be much easier than if it was some random company coming in. So if the agreement happens, it might just be the next financial year, which is obviously July, for it to kick on. So maybe the next 6 months or so, we could be seeing this happening. But I guess once again, as I said, with a couple of different things, because a lot of stuff is unknown until it's confirmed. We'll have to wait and see. That's really all you can say. But if they're wanted to, it seems like they want to get it done pretty quickly. So I would say probably in the next 6 months we'll see something happen. But if it was with like another company, these things could take ages unless the people wanting to sell were desperate. But due to the fact that like Warner Brothers and CBS are tied to the content that's on the CW, I don't think they would just sell it willy-nilly to anyone. They would want the right buyer, which, based off everything, Nexstar is the best buyer possible for the CW. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I don't know if it'd be that enjoyable, just maybe a bit informative, and also because Twitter can be very manipulative and just, the internet and social media in general. So I thought I'd break it down and actually show you the article, because a lot of people just didn't even bother to read it. So hopefully this was informative in some way and gives you a better picture as to what's happening. I'm not saying it's, some stuff won't go away and everything like that, but I mean, just based off everything, everyone thought like the CW was dead when it actually is keeping it. This is keeping it alive. This is like the defibrillator, if you want to call it. So thank you, Nexstar, if you want to put it that way. But yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know your various opinions in the comments section down below. Did this news surprise you? If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know in the comments section down below as well. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.